What's up, YouTube? Making a video. It's been quite a bit since I've had a video made. I think it was recently after the George Floyd incident. Was the last video I made. Honestly, a lot's happened. Probably the last 90 days or something close to that. Honestly, I've been quite speechless for the most part. A lot's been said on YouTube and other social media accounts. But before I really get into what I want to say, I want to make something very clear. One, I have not, do not, or will not support Black Lives Matter. Two, I have not, do not, or will not support All Lives Matter. Three, I have not, do not, or will not support Blue Lives Matter. And four, I will not, do not, or will not support any group that separates Americans, period. And there's a couple reasons for this. One is, for any group that you want to put together, there's going to be evil in that group. Doesn't matter the race, religion, creed, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be evil in any group you're gonna put together. So to support a group as a whole, generalization, I think it's a bunch of bullshit. It's stupid. It's ignorant. So that's one of the reasons that I won't support any generalized group for any reason. I mean, hell, the Golden State Killer that was just convicted the other day to life in prison for umpteen murders across California or whatever, he was a police officer or in some type of law enforcement. So there is evil in law enforcement, and we all know that. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing on the streets today. And as far as the protests are concerned, I am a bit biased. I haven't seen these protests at my front door. If they did show up at my front door, I'd have a response, but I'm not going to get into that. But I'm not going to sit there and be angry about these protests because I'm watching communists getting shot in the face with projectiles, so excuse me if I'm a little giddy about it. Secondly, I'm anti-government. I don't want big government. I want the smallest government possible, so watching police stations burn to the ground also makes me giddy. Sue me. I don't care. The reason I bring this up is I find this whole situation, this whole quote-unquote rebellion, quite hysterical, to be honest with you. Because this rebellion of these thousands of people marching through the streets, rioting and looting, all it's doing is pissing people off. That's all it's going to do is piss people off. And if there was a true rebellion, if this was a true civil war or revolution, you think marching through the streets thousands at a time is the best way to do that? No, it's not, because one drone strike is going to take everybody out. If there's a true rebellion, it's going to happen in the hills of this country, not in the streets. Believe that. So, a lot of what's going on right now is this whole idea that somehow this country is racist. Now, I'm not going to try to be ignorant in the fact that I'm not going to say that there are no racist people in this country or the world. I know there is, but the pure fact is that racist, the definition of racist is feeling superior over another race. If you have prejudices or judgments of on another race, it's not racist. It's just being human. Perception is a big deal in this world. If you're walking around and you're perceived as being somebody who's a criminal, you're going to be judged as such. It doesn't matter what skin color you are. So this thing where everybody's racist and whatnot, I think it's a culture issue. And I'm pretty sure I've said this in past videos. Now, as far as these protests are concerned, sorry about that. As far as these protests are concerned regarding police brutality, I absolutely agree. The police brutality in this country is ridiculous. Just a few days ago, this Jacob feller was shot. I believe he survived. I'm not 100% sure. I honestly haven't really been keeping up on that particular story. But the last I heard, he was in critical condition, still alive, partially paralyzed, I believe. And I watched a video, or a clip of the video, and I've seen a couple videos on people's opinion about how the police were absolutely correct with what they were doing and yada yada yada. And the fact of the matter is the police officers today, with their qualified immunity, the first thing they want to do is shoot. And it's not reasonable. And you might argue, well, the guy has a knife, or the guy has a bat, or the guy has this, the guy has that. As far as I'm concerned, unless the perpetrator has a gun pointed at an officer, the officer has no right to kill that individual. And the reason I say that is because I've watched several videos, mainly on active self-protection, hosted by John Correa, where I've seen normal individuals that are non-law enforcement during armed robberies with bats, knives, guns, just normal individuals that are not law enforcement, stop these individuals. They don't shoot them. They take them down, and they take care of the threat, and they're unarmed. They have no body armor. So these police officers, and they don't have backup. It's just them by themselves for the most part. Sometimes people jump in, whatever, but I've seen videos where a single individual will take somebody down, stop the threat by themselves, unarmed, no protection. And these police officers in a bulletproof vest, several times with several different forms of defense weapons, including tasers and pepper spray and beanbag rounds and shotguns. And I'm not saying any of all that stuff works 100%, but when I watch a video of a young woman who is distressed, obviously depressed or having issues, and she's got a knife in her hand, and the first thing the officer does is draw a gun, that bothers me, because his qualified immunity gives him the right to shoot this young woman because she wants to die, because she's miserable or she's having problems in her life, when maybe just simply pepper spraying her will get her disoriented enough to give him time for backup to show up, or even a taser to disable her. There's a baton, smack the bitch. There's so many options that police officers could use before shooting. And this Jacob incident, I saw at least 2 officers. Both had their guns drawn. I don't understand why one of them couldn't have a taser out and on the guy if they were that fearful of their life. Yes, he was walking away at gunpoint. Personally, if an officer draws a gun on me, I'm going to be laying down in a puddle of piss with my hands on my head, because they have qualified immunity, and I can't shoot back and claim self-defense against a police officer. So therefore, I'm going to do what I can for, keeping myself alive, and just obey their orders and fight it out in court, because I'm not trying to get shot, especially by a police officer. God, what a way to fucking die, right? So this whole police brutality thing, the riots for police brutality, I agree with that part, but making it a race issue is where I have an issue. These headlines where, this race against this race, or this race officer against this race individual, I find it a bunch of bullshit, because police officers shoot everybody. Man, woman, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, they shoot, they kill. Qualified immunity, nobody's held accountable. And that's the problem, is that these police officers, and you know what, I've given a lot of hate to police officers in the past. I really have. I've hated on them hard, and I need to correct myself. As much as I do want to hate the police officers for what they do, they're only doing what they're allowed to do by our our political system, by our governors and senators and the presidency and the leaders of our country. They're only following the orders that they're given. They're only abiding by what the amount of leash that's given to them by the upper command. So for me to hate on the police officers is a little bit ignorant, because they're only doing what they're allowed to do by the people that are in charge of them. So we need to start holding our governors and our leadership, our government responsible. All the people hating on cops, I can understand where you're coming from, but what I want people to understand is that we need to fix our policing by fixing our government. Our government is so fucking whacked right now. I mean, President Trump's a bunch of bullshit. Biden's a bunch of bullshit. Everybody's a bunch of bullshit. It's all fucking crap. I mean, you can do your own research, figure shit out for yourself, but, you know, from what I know and what I've researched and what I've learned is we are so far down the fucking shitter that it's going to take a lot of work to come back from it. But the only way we're going to do that is we got to stop taking these groups and dividing our country. And what we need to do is we need to come together and become a fist to fight for freedom, liberty, and unity. Because that's the only way we're going to fix all this shit. These riots and looting and BLM and Antifa and all this communist bullshit is all it's going to do is keep us separated. I'm watching these videos where people are getting harassed for not putting a fist up for Black Power. That's bullshit. It's stupid. What we need to do is we need to come together as Americans. And one of the things that is really asinine is that these people that are protesting, they're tearing down Confederate statues and Confederate monuments, and they're burning the American flag. And the reason that I feel it's asinine is because the Civil War was fought for these people, right? So burning the American flag, which was the flag carried by the Union soldiers to quote unquote free slaves, is now being burned by the very people that want reparations from the Union. But in the Civil War, we had, I believe it was 620 to 640,000 Americans dead fighting over quote-unquote slavery. Research I've done, it's a little bit heavier than that. If you want to debate it with me, leave a comment. If you want me to do a video on it, I'll do a video on that, but it's a whole nother thing. But the people wanting reparations, you've basically had it. It's what's the cost of 620 to 640,000 lives for your cause? I believe it was somewhere around 360, roughly 360,000 Union soldiers died to free the slaves, and I believe it was about 250,000 Confederate soldiers died to keep the slaves. So in total, over 600,000 people died to battle for what you feel would be justice for the shit that your ancestors had to go through. And that's a huge cost. So for you today, not having to deal with anything that your ancestors have had to deal with, wanting reparations, I'm sorry, you've had it. It's done and over with. And for you to sit there and tear down Confederate monuments and then burn the American flag, which was the side that fought for your freedom as slaves, is complete asinine. Now you might want to call me racist or because I'm white or whatever. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me. I just don't care. All I want is for this country to be what it's supposed to be. I want it to be the 1776 revolution period. The Declaration of Independence. I want the Constitution. I want our fucking city officials, our government officials, our state officials, the presidents, everybody involved who's supposed to be the governing body of our country to respect and obey the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And that's just not happening. Laws are passed all the time without a single vote. In cities and towns and counties, these mask mandates. Who in the fuck ever voted for a fucking mask mandated? I haven't voted for a fucking mask. I'm not gonna fucking wear a mask. I'm not gonna vote to fucking mandate masks. Because I think it's a personal decision. But again, these government officials are taking matters into their own hand and making these laws and ordinances and codes and all this other bullshit. off the top of their goddamn head without the say-so of the American people. And that's not how this country was meant to be run. That's not how it was set up for this country to be prosperous. And something else that I find ironic is that, we have all this talk about reparations for the slaves of old. What about the slaves of today? And I'm not talking about the slaves in this country. What about the corporations and the companies that send work overseas to these sweatshops, right? Why aren't you fighting for those slaves? Why are you buying shit from China that you know is made in a sweatshop? You go to Walmart. I stopped fucking spending money at Walmart. Fuck Walmart. Fuck Walgreens. I try not to go to the big box stores. The pet store I go to is a mom and pop shop. One-off pet shop. I get the rodents for my snakes and dog food and stuff like that. But when you're buying these large corporation items, you're supporting slavery. So I know that these people marching in the streets for reparations and the racists or racism and all this other crap, and then they get done with their protests and they go buy fucking eggs and milk at Walmart. All you're doing is supporting more slavery when that's what you're pissed off about in the first place. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but what I really, really want to get across is we Americans, regardless of our backgrounds, what we've been through, whatever it might be, we need to come together and unite. We need to unite on liberty and freedom, plain and simple. If you haven't done it lately, I recommend you either read or look up the Declaration of Independence. There's a YouTube video that I like where it's read out, and I like the way it's read out, and I try to watch it at least 2 or 3 times a week, just so that way I keep it fresh in my head and try to live my life according to how the revolution was set up and why we fought to become a free nation, separate from Great Britain and the King of Great Britain. And right now I'm just so utterly disappointed with the United States of America. Our freedoms they're disappearing. We're on house arrest with no provocation at all. People are being arrested for wearing a mask and fined for not social distancing. You can't go to church. You can't sing in church. First Amendment, the first article of the Bill of Rights. I mean, how in the hell did we, the people of this country, allow our government to gain so much power that we're not allowed to sing gospel in church? The very first article of the Bill of Rights being trampled on, and we're just okay with it. And these people that are so hell-bent on wearing a mask, please wear a mask. I have no problem with anybody wearing a mask. But understand, if your mask works, what does it matter if I don't wear a mask? You're covering your face, right? You're breathing through cloth, right? So that's supposed to help you, breathing through cloth, right? So what does it matter if I'm not wearing a mask? If I sneeze, your cloth is there to protect you, isn't it? I'm so disappointed. I've always loved America. I've always been proud to be an American. I'm not proud of the government. I'm not proud of how the system has become so fucked up that you can be harassed for crossing the street or not wearing a seatbelt. These are all infringements. These are all anti-liberty codes or laws or ordinances or whatever the hell you want to call it. Even just a cop pulling up and asking you for an ID is an infringement on your 4th article right to be secure in your persons, places, houses, and effects. And the people are so brainwashed to obey that they just go along with it. And I don't blame them. I mean, hell, when I was a teenager, I remember watching the TV show Cops, and I remember just watching these people run from the cops, and I'd sit there and go, well, just do what they tell you to do, and listen to what they have to say. And now I'm like, well, fuck those fucking cops. They don't have the right to fucking fuck with you, even if they know you and they've seen you or they've busted you for selling drugs before. So fucking what? If you're not hurting anybody, you should be left the fuck alone. But in today's day and age, I mean, to go from January watching a video of somebody being arrested for wearing a mask to today where people are being arrested for not wearing a mask, it's unfathomable. I mean, I just can't believe it's happening. And I really hope that one day soon we all wake up and understand that we need to fix what's going on in this country. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what religion you believe in, what culture you're from. We all need to stand together as Americans and preserve what our forefathers fought for in 1776. It's really all I got for now. I've been wanting to make this video for about a week or so. There's just so much going on, and there's so much opinions and stuff. I just wasn't sure if I should put my 2 cents in, but I had to put something together and talk about how I feel about the matter. And regardless of what happens, I want America to succeed. I want liberty and freedom. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what our forefathers fought for in 1776 when we separated from Great Britain. The Constitution was written based upon the Declaration of Independence, and the patriots of this country. That's what they believe they're fighting for. And unfortunately, I believe a many percentage of those who believe they're fighting for that have been duped and are not understanding that we are headed down a dangerous path into, dangerous path or a road, freeway into basically communism, socialism, everything that our forefathers were fighting against. So with that being said, I'm gonna leave it at that. And if anybody wants to debate or have a question or disagree, feel free to leave a comment or whatever. I'm always open to talking, civil discussion. I just want this country to work, and right now, man, it's going belly up fast. It might take a revolution. It might take that battle in the hills for things to be corrected, but I really hope it doesn't come to that. So that's it for right now, and I hope everybody takes care, be safe, and know your rights, and don't let anybody trample your rights. Until next time, you two.